Hello, everyone. Kevin Stevenson here with GetMeTheGeek.com, and today we're going to do a little bit more SQL Server on Linux stuff. Today we're going to learn how to take a CSV file and import it into a SQL Server on Linux. Let's get started. All right, so here we have our SQL Server. We've created a table that's an inventory table, right? And it has three columns: ID, name, and quantity. And so I've created a CSV which has ID, name, quantity, and here's some values for each one of those. All right. And so this is an Excel spreadsheet. I just change it to a CSV, and then we're going to upload it to the SQL Server and do an insert. So, but first, you might be wondering, what prompted this? Okay, so one of my watchers of my videos posted the question in the comments about how do you import CSVs. This particular user is, they're running on Linux. They're not a Windows user, so they don't have access to SQL Server, Management Studio Express, or Management Studio, or anything like that. So then the question is, well, what do you do? How do you get this done? So here's the guy. Here's the comment. Thank you for your comment, and I'm going to show you one way to do this here. Okay, so let's get started. Let's back over here. So this is our tutorial on SQL Server, and what I need to do is take this file that I've saved as a CSV and upload it to our Rocky Linux, and then we're going to do an import. So let's move over here to PowerShell, and we are going to do this. We're going to SCP the book.csv up to the Rocky Linux, and here is a command. Basically, if you use SCP before, basically you just take the file you want, user and name and location with the path, and you hit it, and then you log in. Boom, and as you can see, boom, it uploaded that file really quickly. So now we're going to SSH into that same machine. All right, so as you can see, I did an ls command, and you will see there's the books. You can see that it's a really tiny file. So yeah. All right, so going back over here, you're gonna go up, and we've already created this database and all this good stuff. And so we need to log in to our database on command line. So if you remember, this is our command to do that. So we're just going to copy that over here, change our password. Remember, we have that super secure one called change me. All right. So boom, I'm in the SQL Server. Okay. Let me just pop this over here and pop this over here so we can watch some of these things, so we can do some of these things. So like I said, we're logged in and everything. So we're gonna do this using database, right? All right. So now we're set to using that database. Okay. So one of the things you're going to want to talk about in doing this is, how do you set up the command to import? So a couple things it's basically, you can do an insert. Your from statement is going to have the location of the file. Okay. And then you will do an insert. So let's just go ahead and fire up VS Code here. Okay. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a bulk insert. into our table, which is called inventory, right? And we're going to do a from statement. And then we're going to put the location of that file. So if you go back over here, we're logged into the database. So I'm going to just open up another tab and SSH in here so that we can easily see this. So print working directory, boom. All right. So we know that our working directory is home/plxadmin and then the file name. So when you go back over here, or when I go back to our Visual Studio Code, let's make that bigger so everybody can see it easily, okay? So we're going to put that directory, right? So it's going to be slash. If you just want to reference that real quick, you go over here and you see /home/plxadmin right there, right? Okay. So that's the directory. Then you also need book1.csv, right? Okay, so that is the location of that file. All right, so now we're going to do a with statement. Okay. And then as we look at this guy, we know that our actual data starts on the second row. So we're going to take first row as 2. Now, field terminators. And the CSV is going to be a comma. So now we know that in the CSV, it's going to be looking at that. Row terminators is going to be a return. Tab block. And that is essentially what we need. Okay. See, here we're going to go ahead and type that back in again, right? Bulk. Well, first, we're going to need our using statement, right? So if you remember that, again, you go back over here and using testDB. So now we're in that again. Now we got this right here. So let's just go ahead and type this in, bulk. Okay, now we've typed that in. Don't have file access rights. What we need to do is move this file to a lower access right area. So we're going to move it to temp folder, right? So let's just do a CP 2/TMP. TMP. Let's go ahead and get back into our database. And we're going to be use, right? Okay, so now we're in our testDB again. Let's go ahead and start working on this. We're going to take this, copy, all right? And here we go. Right? Here's our width. Okay. So now we have that. Let's just go ahead and hit go on that and see what happens. 7 rows affected. Wah! All right. So we have taken and imported 7 rows in there. All right. So let's go back. We did a query either clear. This here, this quantity greater than 155. Now, I'm going to change that just a little bit. So let's go and look at this, and let's just go change that to greater than 0, because this will give us all the rows in here. And then we'll just hit a go on that. And look at all that. That's the data that was in there. So let me just pull that up side by side. And so you will see cat. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. So here you go. There's cat at 34. All these boom, 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 and boom. Okay. So that is how you can take a CSV file and import it into SQL Server on Linux, running Rocky Linux 8.4. All right. Now, just real quick, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do a file open, just so you can look at the raw version of that. CSV. Okay. So there's what the CSV looks like in the raw data. Okay. All right. So there you have it. I'm Kevin Stevenson with GetMeTheGeek.com, and this has been another tutorial on SQL Server on Linux, running Rocky Linux 8.4, how to import a CSV. Thank you very much for the comment on my channel, and I'm happy to help you guys out. We'll see you next time.